welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me for part two, catching up with our content creators. So many YouTube content creators are struggling to find relevance in the aftermath of CHille's great copyright strike war of attrition here on YouTube. He was successful in chilling the speech of his detractors here. Copyright strikes are a big deal. They're a pain to deal with. They affect content creators' ability to post and stream sometimes, and they affect income. CHille, of course, had to take his war against them to the extreme with so many copyright strikes, I lost count, and, lawsuits and threats of lawsuits. Some creators got their channels completely taken down, even if for a short while, until YouTube could get it all sorted out. CHille even lost his channel for a week or two, but has otherwise suffered no negative consequences for his bad behavior. So like one collective sigh, many of the YouTube creators who cover CHille have all decided now that they've got other things to do with their lives. Some of them are taking time away from YouTube because of reasons. Some are not putting out much content at all. And others have informed us that CHille is yesterday's news and they're moving on to other things, which I wholeheartedly encourage. Unfortunately, some of those other things involve us getting to know them better, which as far as some creators are concerned, isn't a good thing for them or us. But for the most part, content creators are beginning to find their footing in this new post-CHille era. So let's get to it. Meet Bits and Pieces. This here fella caught my attention as a result of his coverage of CHille a while back. His content was kind of interesting and fun to watch occasionally. He seemed like a nice guy, but he's having a crisis. In a recent video, he decided to cover a CHille topic again, and, well, so far so good, right? Well, apparently, he felt compelled to do another video 2 days after that one to report that he got some pushback for calling CHille a big dumb queer, doing a hashtag big dumb queer, while also telling us that he doesn't have a problem with queer people and that he doesn't know or care if CHille's queer or not. Good deal so far.
I made a video about CHille. People wanted me to make a video about CHille, so I did. Even though I said I don't really want to do much CHille content, but I also like to please my community. And sometimes, I just saw that one moment where CHille said something or done something incredibly stupid, as always, and I let him have it. And during the actual video, I said something that some people took offense to. And I created a hashtag called BDQ, Big Dumb Queer. Now, one of the things I did say that was not an attack on the LGBTQ community. I said that's not what it is. It's not me hating on anybody just because they are gay, because we don't know if CHille's gay or not. I don't care if he is or not. He can love dick. That's fine. That's his prerogative. He can enjoy penis all he wants. I don't care. That's just the way it is.
Okay, I'm not going to be a stickler on this, although I could ask why use the term in a derogatory manner. I mean, there are so many great derogatory words available, especially where CHille is concerned. Words that don't reference people who are being targeted at a growing and alarming rate in this country, but I won't. I'll leave it. So he kind of clears it up here after saying some of his viewers complained. And if he would have stopped here, just stopped talking about it, everything would have been fine. But no, he wanted to put it all out there, get it off his chest. It's obviously building up inside of him.
I just have problems with the whole wokeization. That's hard to say. Wokeization of everything. And I know some people are like, "Oh, you can't say woke. That's stupid. There's no such thing as woke." These are the same people who says there's no such thing as cancel culture, which obviously exists. I mean, you can't say like comedy. How many times have you tried to watch any type of comic, and they come out and they're like scared to say something? Dave Chappelle, good example. You know, he doesn't really give a shit. I mean, you know.
I'm sorry, but how is Dave Chappelle a good example of a comic who's afraid to say what's on his mind? Comics, for the most part, say exactly what's on their mind, no matter who it offends. It seems to me like you're complaining about an imagined controversy. This is going downhill, Mr. Bits. Maybe it's time to, I don't know, rein it in a little bit?
I don't go out of my way to offend somebody. I don't go out of my way to cause problems. You know, I like to think I'm pretty, as far as I am, like, if you would have talked to me maybe a year ago, I wouldn't have talked about this stuff. I just wouldn't. I would been afraid to. Been afraid to say anything. And, you know, I kind of feel like I got a little bit of confidence these days where I'm not afraid to be myself. And of course, me being myself, you do have people, mainly these woke idiots that, you know, they have to protest every single thing. Like Chille, he's a big woke bitch. And I don't understand, like, is it okay to be woke? That's fine. But I don't want to be pushed into it. Like movies, video games, music, books, even porn. I don't know about porn. I think porn's pretty neutral, I guess. I don't know. Porn's porn. But everything that comes out, I mean, they did it with Star Wars. They just did it to Lord of the Rings, Ghostbusters. And I know I'm going to be called some kind of incel because, oh, you just don't like women. No, it's not. That's not true either. Yeah, I had a problem. It was funny. So when Avengers Endgame came out, I went and seen it, and I've seen it twice. And there's a specific part in the movie where all of a sudden on the battlefield, all the women in the Marvel universe is, for some odd reason, just there in one spot. They just happen to be there. And it didn't make sense to me. It didn't. Why would they all be on that same spot, just happening to get this pose right away? And I know superhero movies do that stuff all the time. There's always that money shot, and that happened to be a money shot. And it wasn't organic. I didn't feel organic. It seemed like pandering to me. It was like, oh boy, they just did that to get a check mark. They get their check mark there. There you go. Please include women in this movie. And there's so many like strong, awesome female characters in the Marvel universe. But the way they did it was really cheesy. It was really cheesy. And I got some flack for that from some people. It's like, oh, that's I don't like the way you're thinking. That's awful. Why shouldn't women get treatment? I think women should get great treatment. You know, a lot of heroes in my media, like video games, movies. Let's talk about Ripley. Let's talk about Jill Valentine. Let's talk about Alita Battle Angel. Tomb Raider. Yeah, they have sex appeal. I like to think that women are beautiful. It's just the way it is. I think women are beautiful. I think women do get a bad rap. Not as bad as they say, but they try to push this specific message out on the movie.
Okay. I thought this was supposed to be a video where you cleared up the stupid comment you made about Chille, my dude. You didn't say you were going to do that by distracting yourself into a misogyny hole. Because Endgame chose a few minutes in a film to not pander to you, you just don't know how to unpack that. Sex appeal, check. Beautiful, check. I know that's at the top of my list of what makes a woman a strong and compelling character, too. Fuck's sake. Specific message like, oh, I don't know, we are fans too? We've always been fans? I've been a fan longer than you've been alive. We have a place at this table that involves ever so much more than being defined as objects that serve your one-dimensional expectation of us to be sexy and beautiful, you ass clown. If there are so many strong, awesome female Avengers in the Marvel Universe, why are you bitching about them being highlighted in a tiny but epic, powerful, and badass scene when they unite? Oh, I don't know, along with everyone else who was uniting. It's kind of what the end of the movie was about.
But they made Daisy Ridley, she plays Ray, automatically, with no training at all. You got to remember, Luke, whenever he started on A New Hope, he didn't know the Force. He didn't know any of that shit. His family, which his dad, Darth Vader, was super Force strong. He was like the chosen one. But he was on the balance of evil. But Luke came in. He had to spend 2 movies getting his ass handed to him. He had to go to Dagobah to learn from Yoda, and he still wasn't ready. And he goes to Darth Vader, gets his hand fucking took off. Then on the last movie, you see Luke Skywalker becoming this badass Jedi. But Rey didn't have to do any of that shit. Automatically in The Force Awakens, she was good at everything. She knew how to control people. She was awesome with a lightsaber. She knew the Force. And it kind of continues from there. Like the second movie and the third movie. Like it just, anything that needed to happen for that movie, Rey already knew it. There was no character development for Rey. And I think that's the weakness. That's one of the weaknesses. And I think that is a detriment towards women. Let's think about it. Like, the way they're saying, like, they make a lot of shows is like, well, the woman is strong because she's a woman. They don't give a woman, they don't build the character. They just say, oh, she's a woman, so automatically she's good at everything.
I haven't heard so much privileged dog whistling since Gamergate. Poor Mr. Bits. He had to put up with a new female character. The nerve. There's a difference now between Gamergate and Star Wars. The white guy fan entitlement and the bullying and attempts at canceling people in their franchise isn't tolerated. And you want to talk about canceling people, Mr. Bits. Try being a woman gamer or a huge comic fan back during those debacles. The cast and creators of Star Wars, though, make their voices heard. Even as Star Wars Gate try to make fandom inhospitable for everyone but the, white misogynist guys. These people receive constant pushback from people like Mark Hamill, and because people like him speak out, the message spreads to others in the industry as well. And you can miss me with the crap about Rey. Kenobi was horribly written. It looked cheap. A show about a legacy character looks like it was filmed in a parking lot? There's no excuse. Boba Fett was even worse. And it's not the actor's fault, it's the writing and directing. Andor was good in every way, so was The Mandalorian. There was no character development toward Rey, Mr. Bits. There was no character development toward Finn. He's badly written. There's no character development toward Kylo Ren. He's horribly written. The only reason that's not obvious is because Adam Driver is such a phenomenal actor, it's hard to notice anything other than his beautiful energy. You think it's bad for women that they were showcased and highlighted in the Star Wars brand? Because it offends your feelers? Where do we send the memo? To inform them that a fantasy movie that by its very genre can be taken anywhere, it has to follow your prescribed storyline. Rey's character's not bad because she's a woman. If she were a man, that role would be equally bad. But still not as unbelievable as, oh, I don't know, Luke Skywalker trying to kill his little nephew in his sleep because he had darkness in him. Luke, who redeemed Anakin, who slaughtered little children and still made it into the light. That's believable, Mr. Bits. And don't even get me started on the Star Wars redemption arc. They go bad, and then they turn good, and then they have to be killed, so the writers don't have to deal with the ramifications of what they did when they were bad. It's horrible, and it's cheap. Movie-wise, everything after The Force Awakens is bad. The Last Jedi, try to erase it, and then Rise of Skywalker, try to erase The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson is the problem. And he's not a girl, Mr. Bits. And guess what? None of it matters. It's just a movie. It's a movie franchise. It shouldn't become a cause celeb for a small group of racist, sexist, fragile white trolls, and guys like you shouldn't buy into it.
And she's strong and powerful. You just gotta believe this. She's a woman, and you're a dumb male. Get over it.
Women who are written in ways that you don't agree with, who are given too much screen time, threaten you because they make you feel dumb, Mr. Bits? You are taking this way too personally. I venture to say this isn't even about you. It sounds like a personal problem, though, that you're laying at the feet of people who write female fantasy characters, and at the feet of women who... I don't even know why you're doing this. What compelled you to do this? So I have to spitball it here. That you're giving them a box and telling them what your expectation of them is in order to be considered acceptable. Rather than changing your ridiculous expectations in a changing genre with a changing demographic. That would truly be the dumb thing here. Not women characters who are written to your disapproval because it makes you feel uncomfortable.
The woke crowd put woman, she is over everything. If she's a person of color, she's over everything. If she is a part of the LGBTQ community and she's a woman and she's a POC, she is Jesus. Doesn't matter. Fuck you, white male.
Jesus, Brother Joseph, that crashed fast. We were circling the drain for sure, but shit far. That completely crashed. Mr. Bits, you're a bit of a fragile... You're a little bit of a fragile knuckle dragger, aren't you? Fuck you, white male. Why? Because someone knocked the crap out of your comfortable status quo? Oh, God. Because someone other than your race and gender gets even a modicum of attention to talk about the issues of women and people of color. If wrongs long neglected are righted in books and film, and your race and gender aren't the stars, heck, if they put too many women in one scene together, the stress becomes so intolerable to you that you sit there balking like a goose trying to chase a swan out of the pond. And rather than self-reflection about your inability to accept that people who aren't like you have just as much right to be represented as you do, you sit there blathering about how much of a victim you are. It is unthinkable to me that you even grasp the definition of being woke. So let me educate you, little boy. It refers to being aware of and actively attentive to important facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social justice. It is not a problem you have. While you're sitting there with your, "Aw shucks, I'm a victim of those mean women and people of color" goober act, I'm going to remind you that apathy and ignorance are not virtues, Mr. Bits. And stop saying "whoa, man." It irks me, dude. It's woman, you hackneyed half-baked schlub. You pronounce all your other words correctly. And here you are this morning, Mr. Bits, scratching your head about losing some of your subs, wondering if it's because you haven't put out much content lately, or if it's something you might have said in this video. It's a real abstrusity, that one. When the answer sinks in, into that balloon juice filling your head, please don't do a video to clear it up. Just don't. If you think about it, just say no. But maybe you can learn something from this fiasco. I have neither the idea or the faith that you will. But there is an abundance in this beautiful world, Mr. Bits. And other people getting their fair share does not preclude you from getting yours. Now, good day, Mr. Bits. I said good day. When we last caught up with Blue Bacon, a pillar in the Watchdog community, fighting the bad guys and winning the wins, CHille had come along and doxed him and his family utterly and completely because of their bitter YouTube feud. When other YouTube content creators asked Blue to confirm his dox, he disseminated, he concealed, he gave alternate facts to buy himself time to warn his family and to plan his plan. Many Watchdog content creators were shocked, stunned, peeved to learn what had happened. Not at the guy who doxed Blue, but at Blue himself. Because, of course, at a time of great emotional turmoil, fear for himself and his family, when a guy was reported to be looking for our Blue to do him harm, now was on the road to finding him, they thought Blue should have prioritized them. And how'd he do? Were they pissed? Especially Shizz. She was all over the place, telling everyone who would listen about the dumb Blue Bacon. For a few days there, she was so mad, she mistook every question she was asked with, "Tell me how you feel about Blue Bacon." Platoon Hard Drive noticed that Blue Bacon was man down. And he decided it was the perfect time to swoop down like a turkey vulture on a wounded weasel. Platoon Hard Drive wrongly accused Blue Bacon of stolen valor. He even did an apology video in which he apologized for a sentence and then used all the other sentences in the video to accuse Blue of even more things. He attacked and he attacked and he attacked. And he got upset and took it very personally when Blue Bacon started fighting back.
I know. All right, questions though. What do you have? And I know some of you are like, don't let him. That sad man on the couch is. I think someone called him the sad man on the couch. There's an acronym, the SMOC, the sad man on the couch. Don't let him hurt you. No, he's not. He's wrong. He's very convinced he's right, despite continuously being proven. He's just moving those goalposts. So I figured if any of his people have questions, or if he has questions, he can come here right now. Ask the questions. Is it the papers you told PhD you couldn't dig up? Oh, I never told him. PhD is Platoon Hard Drive, I believe. And he's the guy who's like, I don't know, I think you're stolen valor. I never said I couldn't dig them up. I said I wasn't going to reward him for failing to do his research and for basically being an idiot. And so I've been slowly releasing things throughout the week just to sort of tease. And so now I think he is convinced I was an MP. I think he's convinced I was a soldier. I think he's just moving them goalposts. Be like, what? But he didn't do this thing he said. Why? Where's your evidence? Because everything else I've been saying has been true. You've proven nothing false. Why do I owe you my time?
The fact that that Bacon chose the career path to skip war that he did is very personal to me. You could see it as cowardice or not. But look, everybody's afraid. It's fucking combat. You should be goddamn scared. You should be.
Blue Bacon seems to be correct so far. Not everything I'm saying. But PhD accused Blue of stolen valor. And when PhD was proven wrong, he said, yeah, but you were never an MP. And when he was proven wrong about that, he moved the goalpost again and again and again. And now it's that, yeah, but you chose the career path to skip war, and that's the problem. But that's not a problem. People who enlist in the military in non-combat jobs are not a problem. Are you telling the hundreds of thousands of service members who served in the military in non-combat roles that they're cowards because they made choices other than yours? If they had choices at all back in the day, what kind of thing is that to say to another service member? About 40% of those who join the military never even get deployed to a combat zone at all. 10 to 20% who do find themselves on a deployment wind up in a combat zone. That's not 10 to 20% of the total. That's just 10 to 20% of the 60% who get deployed. The military-industrial complex is a behemoth. Eisenhower said so. A well-oiled machine. There are tens of thousands of positions that need to be filled in each branch of the military, and each one depends on the one before it and the one after it to run smoothly. And heck, during World War II, all the way up through Vietnam, draftees begged to be assigned to anything other than infantry. Didn't usually happen, due to the increased risk of, dying, rather than being drafted into the army and ending up, dying. Tens of thousands of men enlisted in the Navy, Army Air Corps, U.S. Air Force. All of them went on to provide honorable service to this country. These guys told Arty Pyle their stories during World War II. That's how we know about them. And if you haven't been to his little museum there in Dana, Indiana, oh my God, you should visit. It's amazing. But the thing you're actually complaining about is as old as war itself. From everywhere in the world, from every war in the world. It's the front-rear divide. It's that impenetrable divide, and those on both sides know which side the strength of character is on. I come from infantry cavalry family, so I get it. World War II, Vietnam, Iraq, I get it. Go Big Red One, go Screaming Eagles. Combat is not for everyone. It takes a special individual with special abilities to take it on, and those brave enough to take it on, or who had it forced upon them back in the day, did so at great personal sacrifice to themselves, to their families, to their futures. Sacrifice that can never be repaid, but we sure can do a hell of a better job taking care of them when they get back. They have well and truly earned it. But anyways, I know what you're talking about. Sergeant Barry Sadler called them Garrett troopers. The guys too far forward to wear ties, but too far back to fight. But this is not a new lament. Fobbits, Pogues, Garrett troopers, whatever iteration of the generation you're in. And, Sergeant Barry Sadler, he could put up with his Garrett troopers with a hip knife, side knife, a boot knife, a shoulder knife, and a little bitty one that's a combination flare gun, dinner set, and genuine police whistle. You can put up with blue bacon. Denigrating other people's service does not raise you up. Taking it personally is your choice. An odd choice because his service has absolutely nothing to do with you, and yours has nothing to do with him.
Yes. I don't like that he keeps lying. I mean, he won't even say he's in the band. Not an MP role. It doesn't. But look, we all know that. The point isn't to rehash all that. The point of all of this isn't what I'm on YouTube for. I mean, the drama is in some way for everybody. I mean, it feeds some kind of lizard brain thing in us, right?
Yeah, there's, lizard brain and alpha male belong in the same trash heap. There's no such thing. There's no old reptilian wire firing in your head that you have no control over. We act from a place of conditioning. When our conditioning no longer serves our highest good, we are free to make other choices. That doesn't mean that we always do make other choices, but we have the freedom to do that. And that's the cool thing.
I did something that I said I wasn't going to do, but I feel like it's best for this situation. And I blocked the Eileen account, whoever it is. And believe me, process of finding out who it is, I blocked Catherine, his Bacon's sister's account, CP. I didn't do that because I don't like to be challenged, or that there's or anything else like that. I did it because I want to turn the temperature down on all of this.
It's good that PhD wants to turn the temperature down, but he is the one doing the challenging. He's the one who refused to stop going after Blue Bacon. And I think coming back at PhD with this online attack stuff is a horrible idea. This back and forth bullshit just makes everyone more entrenched. It's really negative and it's toxic. No one comes out with clean hands. Certainly nothing gets resolved. I could say, again, PhD should have just left it alone and moved on with his life, focusing on his stuff. He's got an interesting channel. This war does not add to his content in any positive way. Doesn't add to Blue's trying to show off his proof during his live streams.
Have more than enough information on that family. If you don't believe me, Mike, pay your fucking sewer bill. They want to keep it up. That's on them. If it starts getting ugly by them, then I'm willing to play. I got enough info to keep it going for as long as they want. That's not what I want. Shouldn't be what they want either. I don't like when I add to the negativity too much. And that's what I've been doing. I just don't want to be known. Forget being known. I control how I'm known. Right? I control it. So I don't want to give the impression that my existence is to go around to be that guy, not a stolen valor guy. Kind of let myself get sucked into it, and I regret that I did. Because if it keeps going, it's not going to be good or pretty. Not for me. And I don't want to ruin anybody. I don't want anybody off YouTube. I don't want to take subs from anybody. I don't want to ruin anybody. Even if somehow I could. I don't think it's good for anybody. What I would much rather see is self-recognition, self-reconciliation, sort of awareness of this situation. I mean, look, Bacon's gonna keep saying whatever he's gonna keep saying. He just feels like he's weathered the storm. He thinks his audience is too dumb or too weak to question him.
Blue Bacon's audience is lovely, and so is yours. What you're doing is projecting your expectations onto Blue Bacon's audience and judging them harshly. They are not too weak or dumb to question him. They don't care. They don't care about your allegations. You do. They don't need him to answer all your questions. That's something you want. Heck, you could catch him embellishing something he did in the service. They wouldn't care. Besides, embellishment is a time-honored military tradition. I was in the American Legion in the 70s, sitting in the bar talking to these old soldiers while their wives played bingo. I shit you not. No less than 15 guys told me about the time they punched General MacArthur dead in the chops. Not all at the same time, of course. That would warrant some kind of military tribunal. A Korean vet told me about the time he took a hill single-handedly with 200 Korean soldiers on it. My own father regularly cussed out General Patton right to his face. Do you know how many people challenged them as to the veracity of those stories? Ever? None. Those were their stories. They earned them. What Blue Bacon's audience wants from him has nothing to do with who he is or where he's from or what he did. They want to watch him bumble through his live streams, knocking everything over. They want him to stick his hand up that damn frog's ass and make it sing sea shanties. They want to pay to watch him drink whatever vile concoction he has available. They want him to tell them stories. They want him to point and laugh at the stupid people out in the world in his typical sarcastic, condescending way. They live vicariously through his travails, and it brings them joy. They watch him to be entertained. They like him. You don't have to like him, but they like him. And you shouldn't insult them because they like him. I'm pretty much all caught up on our resident agitator Merb's channel. Talk about a rip-roaring snooze fest. He's aspiring to mind-numbing content, and I hope he makes it there soon. Jeez Louise! Nothing really seems to interest him. He appears to just be going through the motions. I'm not sure what the motions are, but he appears to be going through them. He recently participated along with Mark Stout in an act of futility masquerading as a debate. I covered it more fully in part 1 to showcase Kate, who wasted all that time trying to suss out who was better educated and qualified to be taken seriously during that debate when the answer was flashing big red clown lights right in front of her.
No, I get that. So, okay, so, but I'm saying, like, so I'm assuming from that statement you're not.
I win where it matters. See,
well, I'm not disputing that at all. I'm just saying, like, as far as actual qualifications go, I'm just trying to establish this here so that we
that's
get
one hell of a qualification. Let me tell you.
But are you an attorney?
No.
Okay, law school.
I beat attorneys and I win against attorneys.
No, I'm not disputing
in
that.
court.
Really,
so
really
to me, it's almost like if I do that, what does the other stuff even matter? Because the whole point of having the other stuff is to be able to do exactly that. But if I don't need it.
Okay, no, I get it. No, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to establish things here. So when Merb's is done being a dick, any minute now, Merb, I'm going to ask you the same question as far as your qualifications.
Hey, and the name of the case is Zinman v. Stout. If anybody, it's in the Circuit Court of Stafford County. If anybody wants to go check it out and go press Zinman for the recordings, I'd love to get those out there so we can.
Okay, yeah, no, we should do that. That sounds good. But okay,
a lawyer, licensed practicing attorney who passed the bar exam.
But again, I'm just trying to establish this so that we know what we're dealing with. You are not a licensed practicing attorney.
I am a pro se litigant, and that is
pro se litigant. Okay, great.
So congratulations, Mark. You won that one. You were prepared, eager, and you acted like you wanted to be present and to take seriously the subject. Merb, on the other hand, acted like his head was filled with nothing but balloon juice and laughing gas. After this debacle, Merb actually had to do a video to go over the talking points he could have gone over during the debate if he hadn't been so indisposed. He recently made a video to clear up a request from a family member of Chille's to assist Chille in court against Blue Bacon, I believe. They were under the impression that Merb had offered to help Chille. Merb wanted to let everyone know that that was not the case.
This is from a new email that I've never seen before, deletelawes_real@yahoo.com. Merb. Oh, it's titled regarding so it's like he's responding to me. Interesting. Representing Mr. DeCastro, Mr. This is Mr. DeCastro. We're trying to paint an air of respectability on Chille. Merb, you offered to represent DeCastro in the case versus Michael Berrettini. So if you're going to start with something, you probably shouldn't start with a misstatement. And I'm saying misstatement instead of outright lie because, well, I'm being kind. I did not offer to represent DeCastro the case versus Berrettini. I said if I was licensed to practice law in the state of Washington, if I was licensed, if I am not licensed to practice in the state of Washington, therefore that conditional is not met. But it was if I was licensed to practice in the state of Washington, then I would have represented DeCastro specifically against the restraining order. Specifically. I want to be very clear about that. So the conditional has not been met because I am not licensed to practice law in the state of Washington. And it was solely for the purpose of defending DeCastro in the civil harassment restraining order, which I still don't think has been served, so I still don't think it matters worth a damn.
So basically, re is an old courtesy that basically tells you that what you're about to read is in regards to the subject that re references. And technically, yes, Merb did tell Chille that he couldn't represent him. He kind of went one better, though. He offered to assist Chille's attorney for free in the matter of the restraining order.
Can't help you on a case in Washington. I mean, if you get an attorney, I could associate with that attorney, and that attorney can like represent you, and I could do some footwork or whatever. And you know, if you want to do that, cool. I'll help out.
Now, I'm not going to be a stickler here because if memory serves me correctly, Chille did copyright strike Merb, and if that's correct, Merb should invoke parley under the takesy-backsy ordinance and use the moment to put that obnoxious giggle snort to good use for once. Right in Chille's face. There's a grumbly kind of rumbling echoing along the streets of YouTube, mostly from smaller content creators and a growing number of subs. People are starting to peel away in small numbers now, but those numbers have the potential to get bigger. B2 Life Explained sums it up in a nice big bow.
So, as I'm sure you all know, there is a growing list of channels by my fellow creators that I no longer support for various reasons. And as you know, I have kept very tight-lipped about which channels those are. And I've done that for a reason. Mostly because unlike Dr. Dave, I'm not looking to start feuds with other channels. But in the last couple of days, I've learned some things about some of these channels that I don't really want to share everything that I've learned because again, I'm not that guy. I'm just going to tell you what I have seen personally and why I no longer support these channels, and you can maybe work backwards from there and maybe figure out one, who some of the other people are, and two, why they lost my support. But the bottom line is, Arty's channel was actually the first one that I pulled my support from, and I'll tell you why. As you all know, I had Arty on B2 back in May or June, and we had a fairly good time, I thought. But after that, I basically got ghosted. You know, I've tried to do a number of collabs with him since then on a variety of topics, some frauditors, some soft sits, some other stuff, and my DMs on Discord go unanswered. Worse, when I tune into his live streams, the only time that he interacts with me is when I super chat. And as we know, I have a problem with that. But there's some other things about how he does business that rub me the wrong way. But those are the main two things. And You know, I respect all of you guys that are out there. What's going on, Johnny Gomez? But you know, folks, if you send me clips from Arty's channel, I'm not going to play them. Law Talk with Mike is also persona non grata on my channel, and I can hear the collective gasps of shock from people out there. At one point, I really wanted to work with Law Talk with Mike. For over a year, I tried every means and method to get in touch with him. Email, comments on his live streams, DMs on Discord. I mean, just everything I could think of to try to get an answer from him, and I got nothing.
So B2 Life Explained isn't the only one complaining, and Arty and Mike are not the only ones who are being complained about. This community used to look very different. In most families, you learn who the glue who held everyone together was when they're gone and everything starts falling apart. For the Watchdog community, that glue was Schrodinger's cat. In many ways, he was the community, and everyone kind of just drifted around in his orbit. Some of the content creators he nourished into popularity with his time, his advice, and exposure to a massive group of potential subs. People who owe their current popularity to the big cat do not extend the same kindness that helped them thrive to newer and smaller content creators. Some of these creators only do collaborations with a small inner circle, and they only read messages from their subs if their subs pay them with super chats. I enjoy their content occasionally, but the reality is they don't do much. It doesn't look like Arty even does videos anymore. They're all live streams. These guys usually get their videos referred to them by other people, and they don't do anything with them. They don't take the time to edit out silences, the peripheral non-essential footage. They just run the entire videos. They stop occasionally to give an opinion, and they soak in the super chats. There are a lot of rumors floating around about Mike Gavlin of Law Talk with Mike. He has his own subreddit, mostly referencing his far-right leanings and the comments he's made that have chased some of his viewers away. It's all about what the market will bear, though. So as long as their subs provide enough income, they have no real impetus to change the way they do things. They don't have large channels comparatively. When or if these creators begin to notice the decline in subs and booty, they'll either change or fade off into the sunset. Anyway, check out B2 Life Explained. He's part of the community. He does live streams. He really doesn't like chili. He has a nice body of a variety of videos. He does gaming streams, and my special interest, he creates Star Trek fan fiction videos, which are quite good. So check him out. So Team Skeptic took a very long vacation, traveling all over Europe, leaving us behind. Just when all this chili drama was heating up, Chili got his filthy, dirty, grubby little fingers, stubs, on some very personal information about Team Skeptic. And he thought, oh, I'll release it while he's away and bring him down. And when this information did not take Team Skeptic out, Chili, this guy was madder than a mule chewing on a bunch of bumblebees. He huffed and he puffed and he wound up doing absolutely nothing. But Team is slowly getting back into his groove, thinking of new ways to engage his audience and, get super chats.
Rigged right now. I've been spending all day rigging this up so that when you super chat me, it goes like this. And it varies based on the length of the super chat, on the value of the super chat. That was the short one. That was the one for like $1. And it would just do this over and over and over throughout the night. And now it's not working because I couldn't practice. I see Let's see, hold on. Replaying event. It's not doing it. Okay, 1 second. Well, all right, look. It should be working. All right, let's turn off. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Let me do this. Let me turn off the only variations. And let me put this. Yeah, I didn't do that. Y'all did that.
What a great idea. A smoke machine. For every super chat, Team Skeptic gets a puff of smoke. What could go wrong?
The wise weed scholars, or that one at least in particular. Thank you, Andrew. The FBI, $10. Take that petty super chat, Chili. Yeah, take it, Chili. All right, no more super chats. We got to let the air clear up.
This is a real pickle here. Having to ask your audience to stop super chatting because of the device you purchased to encourage them to super chat. This gotta be some kind of paradoxical puzzle, dude. I mean, it's gotta be. Is that why he did it? You never know with this guy. But anyway, it's great to have Team back, putting out the very thing that's been conspicuous by its lacking in this community, and that's entertaining content. YouTube's resident sweetheart Shizz is asking for help. She's looking for direction. She's making a huge mistake. She's asking us for advice.
Hey guys, I've gotten a lot of messages asking me to make more content, which is difficult because I don't know my place on the internet or in the world really. So I'm going to leave it up to you. Comment down below what you think I should make content on, and I guess we'll see how it goes. Stay smart and be good.
She's been Kate's trusty troll Mafia sidekick for a while now, and she's looking to carve a little space of her own. She jumped over to Irish Demon's live streams as well for a while to insult him and to be Jiminy Cricket to his occasional tone-deaf, unenlightened verbal blunders. We were all there to witness their first live stream together. Brings a tear to my eye. He asked her to do super chats. She told him to pay her. He equivocated. She didn't read his super chats. He asked her again and again. She asked for money again. It was like watching a ping pong match, but not fun. It was like a cringy ping pong match. Some of the demon subs were suspicious of Shizz. Those that were began to complain that she was coming between Demon and his little bearded buddy posse of other content creators who sat around with him, farting and laughing and smoking cigars. For the love of all that's holy, you would have thought she was Yoko Ono and they were making the frickin' new White Album. Then all of a sudden overnight, with no warning and not even time to do a bunch of live streams asking for his subscribers to fund his trip, like he had in the past, he was flying off to Boston on a same-day fare airline ticket. Dude, if you can afford that, you don't need our weed money. Then he was going to do an interview with the Vile Turtle Boy for our viewing entertainment. He was going to settle a score that had absolutely nothing to do with him in a drama that had absolutely nothing to do with him. The optics were no bueno. The rumors started flying, and we never got our promised interview. When the demon got back to Ireland, he was a shell of his former self. He was forlorn. He was as low as a bow-legged inchworm. He checked out. No videos, no live streams of note. Unless having a live stream to read super chats in the beginning, middle, and end of the stream would be considered noteworthy, then nah. And there was Shizz stuck in the middle of all of it. Rumors are still flying. It didn't help that her community post started piling up with broken-hearted vague posting. It was beginning to look like Facebook. I personally think this is intersectional, but not related to the drama with that guy we were talking about. And here's why. Shizz is a smart lady. She came out so strongly against Blue Bacon for lying. She would never, ever put herself in a position for someone like Blue and her detractors to have a field day with her like that. She's too smart. So to answer her question, and to make a big old batch of lemonade from the lemons from whoever the rat bastard is who broke her sweetheart, how about a channel of advice? Kind of like Dear Abby. Heartbreak is a very heavy event to deal with. It makes you feel alone, rejected, unable to meet tomorrow with anything but sadness. No real future to look forward to. She would be a really good source for people dealing with that. And the truth is, everyone faces tragedy. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? I thought not. It's not a story the Jedi would tell you. It's a Sith legend. Darth Plagueis was a Dark Lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise he could use the Force to influence the midichlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. He became so powerful, the only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew, and then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself. And finally, before I end the stream, I wanted to catch up with our own odious clown bag, CHille DeCastro.
So the cop is behind you and you're sitting here. So what do I want to do? What's the first thing that I want to do? I don't want to get shot. I don't want to die. Okay, I don't want to die during this stop. What do I do? What's the first thing that I do? My phone is rolling. You want to make sure that your phone is on and your phone is rolling. So when the cop is behind me and I'm pulled over, the first thing that I do, my phone is rolling. You want to make sure that your phone is on and your phone is rolling, is I take my hands, I put one hand right here. This is step one, put one hand right here. So now the cop is behind me. I turned on my phone the moment the cop put his lights on. I got my phone and I got my phone ready to go as soon as the cop pulled in behind me. I knew he was gonna pull me over. He looked at me, I looked at him, we kind of looked at each other for a second, and then the lights came on. So now the cop is behind me. Now what do I wanna do? What's the first thing I'm gonna do? First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put one hand right here in this window. You see how that works? I'm gonna put one hand right here in the window. Now the cop out the back window, of course, my dash cam is right there. So so my dash cam is gonna catch the cop walking up to me. It's gonna see him walking up to me. And what I'm gonna do, my hand goes here, my other arm goes right here on my seat. You see that? So now from behind, that cop can see this arm and he can see this hand.
Hello, sir. Pulled over because of her speed. Is your license, please?
I gotta reach in here.
That's fine.
Okay.
Where are you headed today? That's perfect. See your license, please.
Sure.